So the day of Ramsey that we are reacting to today is my wife is pestering me to take a vacation, and I couldn't resist clicking on this because I have been pestering Connor, my husband, to take a vacation. If you've been following me for a little while, you know that our marriage is like our highest priority. And so once you have a child or children, going away on a holiday, whether it's a night or 2 nights, a week, however long, that is such precious time for your marriage. And we've only done it once, and it was for a wedding. And because we had all of the wedding activities, it didn't really feel like we were spending one-on-one time. Anyway, Henry's almost 2. It was our 4th wedding anniversary. And before we got married, we promised each other that we would go away for every anniversary. And I think we've done it once. I think we went away for our 1st anniversary, and that's it. So anyway, I have been pestering him to do a weekend away. I'm curious as to what this is going to be about, and I could end up relating. So
my wife's been pestering me for quite some time now to take her on a vacation. I'm not sure right now is the time to do it. We're both pretty young. I'm 25, she's 21.
Okay, so he's older than her. He's 25, she's 21. Connor's 25, I think, maybe 26 now. I'm 29.
We got a little one on the way here before too long.
A little one on the way. Okay, we have a little one.
And we're getting ready to purchase a property we intend to build on.
Okay, so they've got a big financial goal, 2 big finance things coming up before we even let Jade and Dave speak, because we can all guess what they're going to say, especially with the little one on the way and they're trying to build a home. I fully support her in wanting to go away. She's pregnant. Take the baby moon. Take the baby moon. I don't care what you have to do. I mean, I do care. Do it correctly. Do it responsibly. Save for it and then go, or like earn it. Go and work some side hustle for 2 weeks, like on Airtasker, or I don't know what the American version of Airtasker is. I do, Fiverr, something like that. Go and earn that extra money in the evenings. You don't have children yet, so you have the time. Earn that extra money. Take the baby moon. It is your last opportunity to go away as a couple. It is coming from someone who now has 1 little baby, just 1. It's impossible to get away. Impossible. Been away 1 time for a friend's wedding. We've not been away since. He's almost 2. I can't tell you how important it is to get away for your marriage. So anyway, that's my opinion before we get into theirs, because I know they will think slightly differently.
Okay. Do you guys have debt?
No debt. We've been very fortunate in that way. Community college educated.
Okay.
What's your household income?
I bring about 50,000 home after taxes, and she brings about 20,000.
20,000? Is she working part-time? Even in the US, like, so say translate that to AU dollars, that's 40k a year. That has to be a part-time job, surely.
And that's part of the issue, is that next year her income will be going away. She's a preschool teacher now, but with the little one, she's going to stay home.
Do you have an emergency fund saved?
We do. The thing that concerns me is that after the down payment on the property, that's what we'll be left with, is with our emergency fund. And so to take that vacation, we'd be kind of having to dig into that a little bit.
I mean, how big is your emergency fund? You can take a small vacation. You don't have to take a month. Like we did. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you could take 2 nights. Like, you can do it cheaply.
A vacation's not an emergency, so I would not dig into the emergency fund to take to take a vacation ever.
Yes, I do have to agree there. We did that. We took our last opportunity to go overseas for a month when I was pregnant, and we used our emergency fund to do that. We honestly, hand heart, believed that we were getting 100k in our bank account from some investments that were supposed to come to fruition in a few months later. So we thought that we would have it replenished. Anyway, both of those investments did not pull through, and we still haven't seen that money, and our baby is now almost 2. Cool. But yeah, don't take your emergency fund, because then we were hit with like bomb after bomb after bomb that like we could not foresee. Seriously, when you use your emergency fund for things that aren't emergencies and your life is going pretty smoothly, you're like, yeah, I mean, what else could go wrong? We'll just put this money back, like we'll spend it and then we'll save it again. Nothing's going to go wrong. The thing about emergencies is you actually can't foresee them happening. They come out of the blue. That's why they're emergencies. So, I mean, obviously there are some that you can foresee. Like if you have a pet, maybe your pet gets sick or whatever. Like they're kind of foreseeable, but there are definitely emergencies where you're like, what just happened in my life?
What does she want to spend?
She wants to go somewhere warm, Wyoming. This time of year, you want to kind of leave it a little bit. About 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah, come on. 2,000 is not that bad. You could make 2,000 in a few weeks, maybe. I'm trying to think. On like Fiverr or something. Like you could make up a lot of that by like taking side hustle work. She's only earning 20K. I'm so confused. I guess like if you think about it like that, like 2,000 is only, that's 10% of her income. Is that right? Holy moly. Why is her income so little? His is little too, 50K.
Okay. So have you run out the numbers on what? Here's the thing. I'm not saying no, and I'm not saying when, but you can decide when. You can look at this and go, okay, my wife wants to take a vacation. We've never taken a vacation. We're debt free. We have an emergency fund. We're also trying to move in this house. What can that look like, and when is the time to take it?
Thank you, Jade. Thank you. I was wondering, because sometimes Jade is very strict and like black letter. But as a woman, I can relate to these people a lot because I'm like, yeah, you're pregnant. I wonder if Jade has kids. I don't think she has kids. But like when you're pregnant, you're like for him, let me start again. She's pregnant. So she is feeling it. She's like, our life is about to change. Her hormones have already changed. The way she perceives the world has already changed. Her body is physically changing. It has all already happened for her. And she's like, holy moly. She's like looking at the tsunami wave that's about to come. It's all exciting, but it's like a huge slap to the face in terms of like change in your life the first time you have a child. I can only speak to that because I only have one. But for him, he has no clue. He's just like, life is normal. Yeah, we're going to have a baby soon. But like, life's normal. I'm just going to keep going about my life. As a pregnant woman, your amygdala part of your brain grows. It's the part of the brain which processes memory and regulates emotions like fear and aggression. And during pregnancy, your amygdala actually physically grows. And so you can perceive fear and you can feel fear a lot more. It's actually amazing, and it continues to grow through postpartum as well. Your anxiety is peaking. Whereas for a man, they're just like, I don't know anything. This is why like I actually have so much sympathy for men once the baby arrives. Like obviously the woman has just gone through labor, childbirth, breastfeeding if you're breastfeeding, but like basically keeping this little child alive. And so they're going through a lot, right? But when your body is also going through a lot, everything's kind of aligned and you're all in sync. So it feels very, very hard, but kind of natural. Hard, like the hardest thing ever. The man is just kind of like thrown into this new world with no physical change, with no emotional like preparation, because how can you prepare for something that you've never experienced before? And then they're just like, it's just sort of like they can't even process what's happening. They can't process it fast enough. And like they're having to look after the baby and the mum, because the mum has like so much going on. They need care as well. And they're just suddenly like, oh my gosh. But it's like their body hasn't caught up. So for the man, this is very much a side note, but like for anyone who's about to have a baby listening, men can go through postpartum depression too. It's very much a thing, because even though it's a different type of postpartum depression, it's like their whole world has just completely changed, and like they didn't have any lead up to it, and it's just like very big and overwhelming, and it's a huge change, and there's no sleep, and you're looking after like the person that you love most in the world, and then this new little baby that you're like, what? Anyway, it's crazy. Okay, back to the video.
Because if you just tell her no and you kind of just swat it away like a gnat, she's gonna get irritated.
Irritated is a nice way of putting it. Not only will she get irritated, she'll get sick of the financial plan. and she'll start rebelling in little ways, spending a little bit more on coffee, spending a little bit more on clothes, spending a little bit more on needs for the baby, she will start to resent the financial plan. And you need to feel like a team unit. You need to feel united on the plan. And like, for me, I'm so sympathetic of this woman, yet we've hardly heard any of her story, but I need to feel like there is a little bit of joy coming into my life, which is why I buy coffee every day. I need to feel like there's a little bit of joy, and then I'm happy with sacrificing and like everything else. Like, I need to know there's going to be quality time for my marriage, a little bit of joy for myself in my coffee, and then like I'm good with that. But like, each person's different with what they need, but you need to have that communication, and it needs to be like both of you working. It can't just be one person dictating all of it.
Well, no, that's not your position anyway. It's your position for two. She's not a child, okay? The two of you ought to sit down as two adults and go, okay, yeah, vacation is a good thing.
This is exactly what I was just trying to get at. And that's so right. Like, she's not your child. You're not the one in charge. You're not the one with the power to say no. Like, this is a team thing. And you need to both be on track with the game plan. You need to know how the game's going to go so that you can both play your role.
Emergency fund's a good thing. Having a baby's a good thing. Buying this piece of ground's a good thing. None of these are bad things. Now, where do they fit in our lives with our goals as grown-ups? You know, you can't just be a kid on the cereal aisle throwing a fit. You have to be like an adult, both of you. And so I don't want you being her daddy and have to talk her off the ledge. I want her to grow up.
Yeah, and look, it's actually really quite difficult to have these sorts of conversations and to like come to the table. Like, if one person feels so strongly about it and the other person feels so strongly about it, and they're like, I really want this, and they're like, well, I really want this. Like, it really does actually feel like you're a child throwing a tantrum. Like, if the other person is so stubborn and you're also so stubborn on what you want, like it, and you're like begging them to say yes, basically, because like, she's not just going to turn around and book the holiday. Like, he in this situation, he has to be the one to say yes. So it has actually kind of given him power. Like, he holds the power here, even though it's supposed to be like a teamwork thing. But from her perspective, it really would feel like she's just having a little tantrum. Like, I want to go away on holidays. Like, you know what I mean? But there's actually a lot of value to going away. It's not just being like, I want lollies. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but anyway, I've been in that position where I feel like I'm just like chucking a tantrum and like trying to beg for whatever it is that like I think is important. And because you're not coming to the table in like, you're not, I guess, like not approaching it in the right way, yeah, it does become that kind of, it really does feel like you're just chucking a tantrum and the other person holds all the power.
And look at it and say, as a grown woman who has a child, what is responsible for me? I want to take a vacation. I'd love to take a vacation. But as a grown woman looking at this, I can't afford to do it right this second because I'm not going to be working next year after the baby comes.
I think like he's really right. And as someone who took a too expensive vacation right before we had a baby, it wasn't a great decision. Like, we were very financially stressed in the year leading up. Like, we didn't even spend that much money. It would have given us a little bit of relief or a little bit of feeling of security for like a month, and then the financial situation got so bad, all those bombs got dropped on us. Like, it was so bad that like that would have only provided a little bit of relief, but still would have been something, and we wouldn't have felt like we'd made such a big error, which is all in the psychology again, which is really important to then how you move forward. But I feel like I can comment on this because we actually did the wrong thing and we felt the effects of it. As a grown woman with a baby on the way, Dave's never been pregnant, so he doesn't really know what it's like. But as a grown woman with your first baby on the way, you're feeling anxiety. You know that there's a big change about to happen, and you're already grieving the life that you're about to lose. the relationship with your partner that you're about to lose, because you can see how hard pregnancy is, and you know as soon as that baby comes, it's going to be extra hard. For a pregnant woman who's never had a baby before, all you can see is the fear, because you don't know this baby yet. The minute the baby comes, the hard is not as hard as it's harder than you ever imagined, but it's not as like negative as you imagined, because you have the love of the baby. Like, that love is so overwhelming and it's so joyful, and it's just like this magical time. It's like the hardest thing ever, but it's super magical at the same time. So, but as a pregnant woman who's never had a baby before, you don't know the magic, you don't know the joy, you don't know the love. So all you have is anxiety and fear, and kind of a very valid fear that your relationship is going to shift dramatically. And that is true. It is going to shift dramatically, and you're not going to get this chance to go away again. Like, having to find someone to babysit, find someone that like the baby's comfortable with. Like, it's not just like someone willing to babysit. It's like there's so many things that go into it. I think like, yeah, I think Dave, in that, I think as a grown woman who is pregnant and is staring down the barrel of this massive change, I think she's making a good decision in saying we need to go on a holiday, because it is good for her marriage. And the best possible thing you can do for your child is to have a strong marriage, and to continually have a strong marriage, and to invest in that relationship. I really truly believe that the happier you are in your relationship, that the stronger your relationship is with your husband, that is going to be the best thing you can give to your child. The best thing. A stress-free home in terms of relationship, and then very closely followed by money, is the best possible thing you can give. So I actually think that as a grown woman, she's choosing to invest in her relationship, and that is valid, in my opinion.
Or, as a grown woman looking at this, I've got a child on the way. I really want to do this. You know, we do have $86,000 in the emergency fund. We probably can go ahead and take a vacation because you've overfunded the.
Yeah, I like it. I think he can kind of understand why it's important. Like, because even just then, he's flipped and said the other way. What he's missing out on is he's just saying, I really want to do this. But it's not really just what she wants. Like, yes, she's the one presenting the idea, and it is coming across as a little child chucking a tantrum, being like, I want to go away on holiday. I want luxury. I want to relax and whatever. No, it is, well, I don't know her, but from my perspective, it's more about, this is good for us. This is good for our relationship. This is why I want to do it, because I know that things are about to dramatically shift, and I'm scared of losing this how it is right now, and I want to like put the work in and go away and have really nice quality time with you while we still can, because like for the next 2 years probably won't be able to, and then if you're planning on like expanding your family, like it just keeps getting pushed out. Now it could be like 5 to 10 years before you get to go on holiday again, depending on what kind of support system you have. So it is actually very important in my perspective.
I don't know what's in this emergency fund, but I mean, she needs to participate in this decision as a grown-up, not as someone who has a parent that they're married to.
That's right. And if she's laid out how you guys can do this, then
it's wise,
then you've also got to be open to going.
You got to be a grown-up, though. It can't be, I want it, I deserve it. You know, bull crap. That's what 14-year-olds do. That's not what grown women do, grown men do.
No.
So, no, you have to be emotionally mature and say what is good for our family. And if in the midst of that we can do this reasonably and we don't leave our family vulnerable with no emergency fund because we went on vacation, that would be stupid.
Yeah, that's not good.
Or leave our family vulnerable since you're going to be quitting work.
That would be stupid. Yes, I have said it before and I'll say it again. Dave Ramsey would unleash on us. If we called and told him everything we did for the last 2 years, he would be like, you're just dumb. Like, that is just a dumb thing to do. Especially, it's even more dumb because you knew the right thing to do.
It needs to be the two of you we have this child, we have his future, what makes sense. And yes, vacations are part of the equation. I got no issue with that at all. But where they fit is, well, your point, Jade. Absolutely.
Where,
where and when.
Yeah, they don't strike me as people who are not smart with their money. They've paid off their debt. They've got an emergency fund. Looks like they're trying to do this house the right way. I have a feeling that he's laser focused and sometimes has to remember, like, hey, we can do some things sometimes. That's just my spidey sense.
Could be. Yeah. Could be loosening the nerd up a little.
Loosening up the nerd.
Yep.
Okay, I was expecting them to go a little bit harder on her. I strongly believe in a baby moon. It doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to be out there. 2 nights in a cheap accommodation by the beach. Dunskies. Like, just get away. Get away. Have that special time with your husband. You will never regret that.